The screen is totally dark, save for a rain-streaked window that allows a faint neon light flicker through. At some point, the clattering, frenetic keyboard stops. "Clara Thompson, I am fired at you." The silence is shattered by a cold, strained voice. "Please collect your possessions." You are given 10 minutes to vacate Zenith Innovations by a 58-year-old named Clara, who has a bruised hand and rebellious eyes. Do they really think that one sentence will be enough to remove her? Over the course of 27 years, she poured resources into her online business. "Sure, I can't do it this evening, under no circumstances." Her voice cracks through the pounding storm outside Seattle as she whispers, "You picked the wrong woman to cross." The USB drive she is holding holds secrets, codes, emails, and lies that might bring down Zenith's glass tower. She steps out into the rain, her silhouette swallowed by the city's rhythm. Stay tuned for more. A day of reckoning is approaching. As the rain pelts the streets of Seattle, a murky cloud obscures the neon signs that pulse like a heartbeat. Up until about 10 minutes ago, I was the director of quality control at Zenith Innovations, a large tech business in the Pacific Northwest. My name is Clara Thompson, and I'm 58 years old. For 27 years, they have received nothing less than my whole attention, my strength, and my sleepless nights. 5 days ago, my pension was meant to have locked in after decades of hard labor and sacrifice. Faced with Ethan Caldwell, the freshly appointed CEO, in his sharp suit, and even sharper smile, that certainty seemed false. His monthly mortgage payment is more than he spends on his luxurious leather chair where he unwinds. "Clara, we're restructuring," he says with a shaky voice. He averts his gaze from me as he says, "Reduced spending. You are no longer employed there, effective right now." As he passes a manila envelope across his desk, their focus is completely on it. "Give me the paperwork for our separation. Until Monday, you will not receive anything." The room tilts ever so slightly to one side, as if the whole cosmos had been turned upside down. Cutting costs. The news of Zenith's record-breaking $2.3 billion in quarterly revenues was all over the tech news sites from Silicon Valley to San Francisco. I am staring at the figures. I have double-checked them, since that is my character, to be meticulous, stubborn, and the one who identifies the flaws that others ignore. My guts turn just at the sight of the folder. This is unrelated to money. For months I've had a feeling that something else was boiling beneath the surface of things. With a hint of impatience, Ethan taps the desk with his fingers. "In order to clear your desk, an HR representative will come collect you." Using the word dedication in such a condescending way makes me feel like I'm being thrown out with last year's code and treated like a relic. I mean, come on, those 27 years just sped past. My proper emotion is fear or anger, quite the opposite. A strange, cold, crystalline calmness envelops me. I have built a career out of identifying patterns like this, and it's glaringly wrong. How can it be that my pension is only 5 days away? After I warned Zenith about those flaws in their most recent AI driving system, no, this is done for a reason. Standing up, I seize the folder that has not been opened. My blue jacket, which I've worn for a long time, serves as a continual reminder of the armor I've worn. My response is a level-headed, almost polite, "Thank you for the opportunity, Ethan." His expression changes to one of shock. Pain, maybe even a plea, was what he was bracing for. Things were worse for him than they were for me 10 years ago, what with deadlines, natural disasters, and the death of my husband Paul. With my skirt pulled straight and my hand gripped firmly by the folder, I turn around and bolt. A pale, regretful look can be seen on HR's Marissa Lopez as she waits outside. Murmuring to the nearby security guard, she says, "Clara, I'm so sorry." Tom, who appears to hate his job today, goes by that name. I only nod so they may keep silent. You may reach my office by taking a little walk via the glass walls and buzzing monitors. Co-workers glance up and then away, their silence piercing while the servers hum. Quickly, word goes around. Make haste to gather your possessions. Paul seems expressionless in this photo from our most recent Olympic tour. This cactus plant was a graduation present from my daughter Sophie. A weathered plaque honoring 25 years of dedication. Things that don't fit in a cardboard box but are significant include nights I missed Sophie's piano recitals, holidays cut short due to urgent bugs, and the calm pride of safeguarding Zenith's technology. As I hand him my badge, Tom muffles, "Have a good weekend, Mrs. Thompson," his voice thick with shame. A little grin disappears from my lips. With any luck, I will. I am standing in the lobby as the elevator goes off the rain, pounding on the glass doors. While Tom keeps one open, I bravely face the storm, even though the folder was damp but unbroken. I was soaked by the time I reached my parked car, which was across the street. As I sit here with the engine off, I can almost hear the rain pelting against the windshield. The Seattle skyscraper soars with determination and a gleaming Zenith insignia above it. According to Paul, Clara, you're gifted. He still speaks to me. He couldn't have been more right. Your viewpoint is truly original. The bugs have always been pointed out to me by code systems and PPL. 6 months ago, Ethan emphasized the need of launching the AI drivers promptly. Not only did I find bugs in computer programs, but I also found ones that might wreck cars. Everything from reports and memos to a meeting corner on him was mine to do. People could die if you don't fix it now, I told them. He mocked me, claimed I was being overly cautious, and told me to stay in my lane. I ignored his counsel and continued excavating without stopping. Backups were made of all data emails and any other unusual things. It might be a result of instinct or paranoia. I didn't want to set off the digital minefield in my purse, but now everything is on the USB drive. Thus far. As I turn the key to start the automobile, the rain rips through my windshield wipers. The folder seems like a lifeline as it clings to the passenger seat. I will lose the ability to fight if I sign this. If I don't say no, I might lose Sophie, my future, and all of my savings. Ethan, though, was incorrect. My anxieties are too much for me to bear, and he is afraid I may give in. I never met him. He is completely unaware of how much he has absorbed me, every late night, every loss, and every time I stood my ground. As I go out onto the street, the blinking lights of the city become a haze. It will go on like this. This is only getting started. Seattle now looks like a neon shadow watercolor splotchy, since the rain has stuck around. Finally, I've arrived at my beautiful Capitol Hill apartment, where the view makes you forget about the half of your salary that goes toward rent for a little while. As it sits on my kitchen table, the small black rectangle that is the USB drive is heavier than the manila folder that I placed on top of it. After 27 years at Zenith Innovations, it comes down to a few gigabytes of data that may reveal all. The frigid blue light from the screen makes me seem pallid as I anxiously plug it into my laptop. My name is Clara Thompson, and this evening I will disclose an unintended secret. All the folders bearing spotless corporate tags, AI Drive Q1, compliance reports, and exec correspondence are being clicked through, and the data is loading and my pulse rate is rising. When it comes to reports and coding, I have always been the sort to go over everything very carefully. For that reason, Zenith kept me on staff, even though they had younger, flashier workers come and go. However, this is extraordinary. In the confidential folder, I locate an email thread and open it. Ethan Caldwell forwarded it to the heads of engineering 3 months ago. The subject line, AI driver security protocols, leaves me feeling queasy. Ethan writes, "Team, we're going to launch it quickly. Put Thompson's reports about the encryption weaknesses out of your mind. These improvements are expensive but pose little danger. Prioritize the delivery process. The stock's future depends on this." I read on my heart racing. I have attached my reports, which contain evidence demonstrating how the AI's security flaws might allow hackers to take over a car while it is in motion. The files are marked disregarded in red, and I underlined this. I told him. He deliberately hid the risk of death in order to boost the stock price for a Wall Street deal. Despite my best efforts to remain composed, a boiling wrath lies beneath my fingers as they twiddle over the keyboard. I go more into the matter, accessing an email that I had erased but had retrieved months before when I began storing things on impulse. The message was sent by Ethan to the CFO 1 week subsequent to my alert being raised. In his writing, he mentions that Clara is becoming overly inquisitive. Do not include her in the smurge discussions. We will deal with the merger if she insists. Zenith is relying on the AI driver to finalize a $1 billion transaction with a Detroit manufacturer. Because of this, there was a hurry, and my cautions were disregarded. They were counting on the stock to skyrocket, and my reports were a danger. As I relax, the chair makes a noise beneath my weight. As they flit outside, the neon lights cast a dazzling electric blue glow on my walls. Not only carelessness. As if Ethan's spies were hidden in the walls, I reply by speaking quietly when my phone buzzes. "Are you all right, Clara?" she says, her voice strained with concern. On my escort out today, only my HR buddy Marissa Lopez looked me in the eye. The occurrences were reported to me. "I'm okay, Marissa." A brief moment passes, evoking a chill down my spine. "We can meet tomorrow," she whispers softly. "Listen, I have something important for you to see at this coffee shop called Pike Place, which is by the fish market. It's just not right, I think to myself. As I glance over at the laptop, the email staring back at me. Nevertheless, I am determined to find out how Ethan has been discussing the AI project. As I end the call, my mind races with possibilities. Marissa may be terrified, but she is loyal not to Zenith, but to me. Going back to the USB drive, I find another file. A record of internal audits that isn't meant to be seen by me. Line after line with dates after I reported the issues are the AI system's past certifications. At first glance, it seems like we meet government criteria, but these are actually fake and backdated. Cross-referencing dates gets my heart racing. All indications point to Ethan's team manipulating the figures and covering up the dangers in order to keep the merger moving forward. If word gets out, there will be a legal battle. Here we go again. The rain's rhythmic tapping on the glass brings me comfort. Reflecting on the past decade, I can't help but think of my spouse, Paul. He used to sit at this table, sipping his coffee, and taunt me about my superpower, my knack for spotting lies. "Clara, you're a truth finder," he'd tell her. As I closed my eyes, his voice reassured me, telling me not to let anybody ever diminish it. After I sign his severance and disappear, Ethan will feel victorious. This USB is more than just data. He has no idea what I have or what I have seen. I am not afraid to use this weapon. My confidence and sweat helped Zenith grow into an empire, but now the truth will be used to dismantle it. A hushed challenge surges through the neon outside. Send Ethan to get me. It's time for me. I make sure to save a copy to a secure cloud drive before putting the USB drive inside my bag. Tomorrow Marissa and I will meet, and whatever she has, I will include into my arsenal. Sitting on the table, a folder whose contents serve as a trap to keep me quiet taunts me. I refuse to sign. I refuse to budge. A dreary, clinging type of rain greets you on this Seattle morning. At Pike Place Market, where the aroma of roasted coffee and fresh seafood lingers in the air, I make my way through the throng. The USB drive within my purse is a continual reminder of the secrets I'm carrying, making it seem heavier than it should. The revelations of last night continue to sting Ethan's emails, the phony audits, and the intentional concealment of the AI driver's vulnerabilities. I'm Clara Thompson, and I'm 58 years old. Working for 27 years at Zenith Innovations has taught me that standing up for what's right isn't easy, but it's worth it. My HR buddy, Marissa Lopez, suggested we meet at this charming coffee shop nestled beside the fish market. She's putting her job on the line to show me something. Peering through the steamy glass of the business, I observe Marissa hunched over a table, her black hair tightly pulled back. Usually Marissa has been dependable, like the person who would sneak me a coffee while I was auditing late at night. But tonight she seems nervous. "Clara," she whispers, "you look like you haven't slept." I musters up a half smile and take a seat across from her, the scent of espresso calming me. "Rest is undervalued. Have you got anything?" Her fingers tremble as she nervously presses a folded sheet of paper across the table, stealing a brief glance over her shoulder. "Keep it closed. Ethan wrote a note to the board last week. He's determined to permanently hide your AI reports." "Where can I bury it?" I ask myself anxiously as I slide the paper inside my purse where it will be safest next to the USB. I ask, keeping my voice calm. Marissa approaches her words almost inaudible. The compliance team is approving false certifications due to him. Supposes it's necessary to streamline the merger in Detroit. "Clara, he knows you're a problem. Observing your every move, he has been retrieving your email records." A man in a Zenith hoodie is loitering at a fish stall, staring too intensely at an unsuspecting guest as her eye briefly flits to the window. My skin crawls with an itch. Could he be Ethan's relative? I signal to Marissa to keep talking while my hold on my purse becomes increasingly firm. With a terrified gasp, she takes a deep breath. "That's not all. Ethan was overheard by HR yesterday. After their decision to let you go, he boasted about tying up loose ends and claimed that your separation is actually a gag order meant to silence you over the AI problems." Her voice quivers, and I briefly perceive the burden she's bearing loyalty. To me, worry for her own career and children. If she doesn't sign by Monday, he has attorneys prepared to ensnare her in lawsuits. My hand reaches across the table and I squeeze hers. "Marissa, you were under no obligation to do anything." The woman exclaims, "Thank you," while wildly clapping her hands. "Clara, you have never messed up. You just need a shoulder to cry on." As the masked man approaches a fruit stand acting interested, I try to keep my cool and say we should go. Marissa takes her purse and nods subtly, and we steal away from the side entrance, joining the bustle of the market, with the vendors shouting and the photographers snapping pictures. My mind races as we weave in and out of the crowd, and I realize that I am the weak point in Ethan's defenses, which he must fortify to hide his lies and AI flaws. The document in my purse adds to the evidence that he is manipulating the board to get the merger approved no matter what. The din of Pike Place slowly fades away as we duck into an alley. Marissa asks, "How are you, Clara?" Her expression betrays her difficulty breathing. I tell her calmly, "I'm not signing," she adds, "and I have company. Paul, my husband, who has been gone for 10 years, but is still my rock, is on my mind. No matter how deeply hidden the truth, he would urge me to persevere and uncover it. Marissa, you have given me the groundwork." She softens her demeanor and continues, "Now I need someone who can take this higher." A glimmer of optimism appears through her fear. "Nathan Brooks," she says simply. "He served as our chief technology officer prior to his employment with the FTC. You were always highly esteemed in his eyes. Certainly he should be approached for help." I memorize the name by nodding. Currently, the FTC is collaborating with Dr. Nathan Brooks. Next on my agenda is finding someone who is well-versed with Zenith's inner workings and regulations. I can't escape Ethan, his emails, threats, and the hooded figure, no matter how peaceful it seems in the alley. Marissa is holding my arm as I look into her eyes and assure her Ethan isn't holding anything back. My resolve strengthens, and I beg you, Clara, to vow that she will be careful. "Neither am I. Get out of here, Marissa. Don't look up. I'll take care of it," she remarks. After a little pause, then rushes to embrace me before blending into the crowd at the market. As I stand here in the rain, my bag weighed down by the memo and USB, I can feel a mist on my face. For the moment at least, the frantic hum of Pike Place acts as a barrier between Ethan and me. I refuse to let this lead go to waste. Marissa gave me everything to give it to me. Ethan thinks I'll take his money and vanish unless he steps in, but I'm not that kind of woman. I can see mistakes and uncover the truth. Plus, I've only begun to uncover the truth. The neon signs above me encourage me to keep going. Nathan Brooks's name is burning in my thoughts as I draw my coat closer and walk to my car. The battle has begun, and I refuse to back down. As I sit in my apartment, illuminated only by the light from my laptop, I can feel the dreary Seattle air seeping into my bones, even though the rain has subsided to a drizzle. Beside me on the USB drive lies Marissa's note, which contains the truth that I cannot disregard. My name is Clara Thompson, and I'm 58 years old. I've put 27 years of my life into Zenith Innovations, and now I'm faced with a decision that might completely change everything. It is completely obvious that Ethan Caldwell lied about the AI driver's fatal defects and falsified audits in order to boost the stock price for a merger. However, the following step is where I begin to feel uneasy. I have Dr. Nathan Brooks's number from an old email on my phone, and my fingers are hovering over it. The ex-CTO of Zenith, who is on the second ring, Nathan answers with a kind but clipped voice, as if he's used to late-night calls. "Is this Clara Thompson?" I ask, my heart pounding. I take a deep breath and steady myself. It has been some time. "Nathan, I am in need of your assistance. It's a major problem for Zenith." I lay out the evidence, the emails, the letter, and the backdated certifications that concealed defects that might cause auto crashes and human deaths. I brief him on Ethan's efforts to have me silenced and how he used the severance to coerce me into doing what he wanted. With a serious business-like air, Nathan listens. After I'm done, he's direct. "Listen, Clara, this isn't your average dismissal. It might be a cover-up or securities fraud. Give the FTC as much detail as you can if you'd like them to investigate. The breakup agreement is not something you should sign either. His comments were so suffocating that they surprised me. This is actually taking place. Federal. Surpassing my size. All of the evidence, including emails logs, Marissa's message, and more, has to be sorted and given to his team by Monday. Clara, be careful it's secure, he warns. He says, if Ethan is as filthy as you claim, he will seek retribution against you. I hang up the phone as his words stick with me. The walls of my room are framed by the stark shadows cast by the neon lights outside. Even though I'm sick to my stomach, I calm down and read the memo that Marissa sent. I didn't expect it to be this bad. Ethan has told the board to mislead investors by inflating income projections in order to seal the deal with Detroit, hiding the AI's flaws in the process. My name is mentioned in one of Thompson's reports that is considered a liability. Force her to defend herself. The term has a harsh tone. I have a surge of motivation and start sorting files and transferring them to the cloud. I didn't want for this disagreement to arise, but my mind is elsewhere. I have been a loyal Zenith client for as long as the company has existed, because I think their mission is to make people's lives better through technology. I stayed late to make sure the systems were safe and that bugs were fixed. Did it really make a difference? A voice from my past, my late husband Paul, chimes in when I start to question. He has been gone for a decade. He would say it with that smile that made the bad days bearable. You're here to do what's right. But he meant it. Doing the right thing would mean betraying the firm I helped build. It would mean jeopardizing my future, Sophie's future, and all my hard work. I receive a notification about new email. The subject line and sender's identity are missing. The message asks Clara to sign a severance agreement. Else you'll be sorry. My heart sinks. Hey, Ethan, it's inevitable. The message may be brief, but it strikes fear into my heart and soul with its digital punch. With a blaze of fury, I fix my gaze on the television. In his mind, he can intimidate me into giving in, just like he has done with countless others. He has no idea about the years I refused to give in when executives tried to take shortcuts and the hours I stayed, up till dawn debugging code. With clenched teeth, I erase the email. Let him try. Run, not me. My daughter Sophie is a journalist, and I see her out there pursuing stories. What does it teach her if I give in? Who is victorious among those powers? That fact is irrelevant. That must not serve as a lesson for her. Concerns about Ethan's influence, his attorneys, and the litigation Marissa foretold are well-founded. I am risking my retirement and all of my money. With Paul's voice firmly imprinted in my mind, I shut my eyes. You have the power of truth, Clara. Use it. I crack open the neon boxes, the pulsating lights outside, serving as a challenge. He is correct. I have the proof, the determination, and now Nathan's support. This is about more than just myself. Everyone who has ever put their faith in Zenith's technology. The drivers, the investors, and the employees is a target of. After saving the final file and locking the cloud drive, I tucked the USB drive into a hidden compartment of my bag. Tomorrow I'll call Sophie for her opinion. I need her brave and perceptive opinion before I give this to the FTC. The lingering danger of the email motivates me to be cunning while Ethan is being dishonest. The gentle tapping of the rain on my window soothes my anxious mind. No, I am not only Clara Thompson, the former head of quality control. It is I, the lady with the truth, who can see the fissures. I am also ready to fight. As night falls over Seattle, the cityscape becomes a neon haze, with the skyline lighting up like a circuit board. As a 58-year-old woman named Clara Thompson, I find myself seated in a darkly lit cafe just off Fremont, the type of establishment where the coffee is robust and the booths conceal mysteries. The USB drive Marissa's memo and a cloud backup I created in response to Nathan Brooks's warning are all in my handbag, which is resting on my leg. The anonymous email that Ethan Caldwell sent me, threatening to regret it unless I signed the severance agreement, remains fresh in my mind. However, I will not budge. After 27 years at Zenith Innovations, I'm good at finding mistakes in both code and people. The young engineer Liam Carter from Zenith's artificial intelligence team is an unacceptable. Liam, who is probably about 25 years old and sports an unkempt beard, sneaks into the booth across from me, his stare penetrating, yet wary, his jacket soaking from the rain. His frenetic energy exposes his addiction to Red Bull and deadlines. In a low voice he speaks. When Marissa said that you're looking into something, I nodded in answer and watched him closely. I remember before the effects of age impaired my perception, having a look as intense as his, despite his youth. I am, I respond. And I've heard you have something to share, he remarks, bending forward as he gazes toward the diner's entrance. My inbox is at capacity from Ethan, principles for removing artificial intelligence driver data from collision simulations. You have proof that the system is a trap that can kill you. I feel my heart racing. Information derived from vehicle collision investigations. Proof that the AI has real practical problems. Show me, I say, in a voice that remains steady despite the surge of adrenaline. After locating a battered laptop, Liam deciphers encrypted information. As the emails show, Ethan ordered the removal of records, showing the AI's failure in high-speed scenarios and their replacement with fake, successful runs. What really gets under my skin is the statement that says, Thompson is no longer among us. No one else is going to ask, I tell Liam, who is gritting his teeth. I would like to know why you are taking a chance on this. He shrugs while a half smile flutters across his face. My family has a paramedic. She has seen firsthand the devastating effects of flawed technologies. This is intolerable to me. I feel hopeful again after being down for days. Liam goes beyond being a source. He becomes an ally when we have the same view of the reality. The Federal Trade Commission is where we're headed, I tell him. Dr. Nathan Brooks is going to come to anticipate my proof on Monday. Can you get those files back for me? Nodding, Liam's expression briefly changes to one of concern. Evidently, Ethan is somewhat suspicious. His request for the email logs is currently being investigated by IT. My stomach turns at the thought of the hijacked email I got last night. I found him looking over my PC yesterday. The time before Ethan arrives is rapidly running out. Here in the diner, we are really efficient. The findings of the crash test are copied to my USB drive by Liam in record time. I show Ethan the paper that Marissa wrote that disclosed his scheme to fool the board. By comparing two dates, we may create a chronology that links Ethan's orders to the false audits I found. This house of cards is collapsing under our feet. A beep later, though, and I realize it's an email, but I have no idea who sent it. Put the shovel down, Clara. My breath shortens when I hear the words, "You're not as smart as you believe you are." Ethan, or someone he has hired, has done it again. Liam looks across at my face as I lean forward. Please tell me. I demonstrate it to him in a low voice. He's trying to make me scared. This plan will fail miserably. Liam notices pupils constricting. Your email has been hacked. We need to make sure this is secure. He starts a program he made from the ground up and encrypts our data with a password that no one else knows. He asserts this will deter him with the air of an out-of-town bully with a clever face. I sense a hint of peril as I nod in acknowledgement. I am close by, and Ethan knows it. He is also dangerous and dishonest. My husband Paul, whose voice I will never forget, once told me truth's worth the fight, Clara. I know that he would respect Liam for his independence and strength of character. My purpose in being here is clarified. It keeps resonating in my mind. The USB will be loaded with all the evidence needed for the FTC case. Once everything is finished, including Liam's data, my records, and Marissa's note. When I tell Nathan I'll get this to Nathan, I really mean it. You, Liam, remain hidden. Ethan smirks, but his expression betrays the terror in his heart. I thrive at stealth, Clara. I implore you to make this matter. I silently swear by nodding. As we exited the restaurant, Liam vanished into the crowd, and I hurried to my car. The neon signs begged to be ignored, yet a hidden threat is there. Ethan was shown that he is not as unbeatable as he thought he was by Marissa, Liam, and me. Our well-honed evidence is prepared and ready to go. As I make my way through Seattle's gloomy streets, thoughts of my daughter Sophie keep popping into my head. I need to give her a call and get her thoughts on this before I offer it to Nathan. She's courageous and always there to guide me when I'm lost. The looming email threat ensures that I stay motivated. I have people rooting for me, and we will win, even though Ethan is using deceitful techniques. The city is bustling with life and possibilities. Cradling the wheel, I make sure the USB drive is safely in my purse. The truth will be exposed on Monday. The steel and glass buildings that comprise Seattle's skyline become glaringly obvious as the morning fog dissipates. Standing outside the downtown Federal Building, I, Clara Thompson, 58 years old, clutch the USB drive that holds the innermost secrets of Zenith Innovations. Now that I have spent the last 27 years constructing that organization, I am ready to reveal its lies. I have been keeping a mountain of evidence emails from Ethan Caldwell, a message from Marissa, and crash test data from Liam in my mind, and each threat and dismissal just adds gasoline to the fire. Dr. Nathan Brooks and the FTC will be hearing it today. Truth has a chance to shine today. The sound of the city is muted when I go into the building. In the entryway, Nathan meets me, his handshake firm and his outfit crisp and gray. "Clara," he says with a firm look, "you're doing the right thing." I nod my head in agreement, but nervousness is building up inside of me. Doing the right thing feels like jumping off a cliff. He shows me to 2 FTC investigators in a sleek glass and wood conference room, the astute attorney Sarah Kim and the tablet-wielding forensic analyst Marcus Tate. I can feel the looming pressure as they greet me with kind nods that are both professional and welcoming. The focus has shifted away from me at this time. Perched on the table, the USB power adapter reflected light from its shiny black surface. By assuring them everything's here, I am able to give the impression that I am keeping my cool. Ethan Caldwell's emails directing the destruction of evidence related to AI driver defects, deceptive audits concealed potential hazards of crashes, a board document that overstates income from the Detroit merger. I go over each file with them, using my extensive experience in quality control to ensure a comprehensive explanation. In a series of betrayals of the confidence I had placed in Zenith Ethan's words, disregard Thompson's reports, neutralize her, flash over the screen. As Sarah reads, her pupils constrict. Marcus taps notes in a glum expression. This is systematic. They aren't just skimping. People's lives are being put at risk while they deceive investors. This is enough to begin a thorough investigation, Clara, Nathan says, quietly as he drops his head. To ensure the accuracy of your information, we will subpoena Zenith's records. With Marissa's warning resonating, Ethan is keeping tabs. My heart accelerates. He will be able to tell that you are behind it, since it will move swiftly. The masked man in Pike Place and the anonymous email both flash into my memory. My inner voice says I'm ready, regardless of whether it's a dare or not. A paper and agreement to protect whistleblowers is presented to me by Sarah. Could you kindly sign this for me? She asks. Signing this statement, I can't help but think of Paul's words, "Truth is your superpower, Clara." He assured me that speaking the truth would shield me from danger. As we wrap up, my phone remains firmly attached to my purse, still beeping. I opt to ignore it even though Nathan notices it, adds verify it in an apprehensive tone. It is with much sadness that I recover it. Marissa, who seemed anxious, left a message. Clara, Ethan is in utter despair. He has IT scouring the servers for security holes. He brought your name up to me. My jaw is clenched as I play the cautionary tale for Nathan, urging him to be careful. A scowl appears on his face. He's obviously terrified, which is encouraging, but also worrisome. I nod and tell him to secure the evidence using the USB backup and encryption performed by Liam's code. But I can't help but feel the crushing weight of Marissa's concern. At the end of the conference, we came up with a plan. The FTC will notify Ethan, and by the end of the day, they will formally request Zenith's data. Sarah gave me her business card, and I put it in my bag with the USB. If anything seems off, I can be reached at any hour. Looking out the glass doors of the federal building, I can see Seattle, its unwavering heartbeat, despite the approaching storm. My thoughts are with my daughter Sophie, who is waiting for my call, because I have to inform her about the situation and prepare her for the consequences. Sophie is strong, but I am wary of Ethan due to his hackers and the threats he has made. Will he pursue her? As I go out into the sidewalk, I feel the refreshing drizzle on my face. Yet another ping on my phone, this time a text, but no one has texted me. Clara, you will not be able to hide, sign, or pay. Ethan's games heated up. I remove it, my determination growing stronger. Although he is unaware of the lady he fired, he believes he can intimidate me into being silent. Truth, Sarah, Nathan, and Marcus are all on my side. In a subtle act of rebellion, the neon signs across the street flicker and light up. I am the one wielding the hammer while Zenith's glass kingdom cracks. With the FTC's promise still echoing in my head, I zip up my coat and make my way to my car. We have begun our inquiry. Now is the time to go forward. With neon lights slashing through the precipitation, like blades, the Seattle nighttime hums with restless energy. Driving home from the FTC, the burden of my encounter with Nathan Brooks remains heavily on my shoulders. I am Clara Thompson, 58 years old. The USB drive, which is now securely in my possession, has the truth of Zenith Innovations' deceit, Ethan Caldwell's directives to conceal AI driver vulnerabilities, fabricated audits, and a memorandum to boost stock in preparation for a merger. The FTC has begun an inquiry after I gave them all of the information. Ethan is going through the servers seeking for leaks, yelling my name. But as I clutch the wheel, Marissa's voicemail rings in my thoughts. The shadow of his impending doom is drawing near, and he is well aware of my approach. As soon as I step into my Capitol Hill condo, I hear a news alert go off on my phone. As I park my car in the pouring rain, I open the notification. A knot forms in my stomach. In the bright lights of a studio, a tech streamer announces that Ethan is being held up in a press conference. The executive of Zenith has called out an unhappy employee for making false claims. In a calm and professional voice, he explains that Clara Thompson was fired due to performance issues. She is resentful and intent on undermining our union through her lies. We're working closely with authorities to resolve this issue, the reporter says, her enthusiasm showing in her nod. Not functioning correctly. He now paints me as a heartless loser, even though I've had 27 years of top ratings. I'm taken aback. It's shocking. What Ethan is betting on is that he can ruin me before the FTC probes further. He is being dishonest. I lash out the door as I rage my way up the stairs to my apartment. The neon light from the street outside casts a cold blue hue on my walls. My daughter Sophie yells at me over the phone, her voice quivering with fury. "Look at this, Mama. What a disgrace. Live on television, they're destroying you." Sophie, a journalist who is 29 years old, has an explosive personality that I both like and fear. I say he's lying. Sophie, keeping my voice calm. It is my evidence that the FTC possesses. Until he says something, she is not moving. I inform her that time is needed by the FTC. She sighs but agrees until later. With a tightness in my chest, I end the call. Despite Sophie's aggression, I am terrified that Ethan may go after her next. "Mom, I'm having some writing done. A tech blog is one of my connections. We must not allow him to dictate the narrative." Nathan's caution about remaining silent is still echoing in my head, so I'm not sure what to do. "No, not just yet," I tell her. While the news is airing, I turn on my laptop. Ethan is using his charm attack to pledge transparency and avoid questions about the AI's flaws. Online people are speculating about me calling me a whistleblower or a troublemaker who believes Ethan's lies. Despite my knowledge, my fingers want me to reply, "Shout the truth." In this case, evidence will win out over passion. Then I receive another unsolicited email that reads, "Your daughter's next. Sign the severance." The thought makes me feel physically ill. "Good day, Sophie." My husband Paul's words, "Stay strong, Clara. You've got this," offer reassurance, and I hold on to them to help calm my racing thoughts. However, even if I tremble as I erase the email, the danger is still there. In the midst of my anxious preparation to contact Sophie, my phone beeps again, this time from an unknown number. I quickly pull up the app, my heart racing. Sophie has started a thread on her journalist account, criticizing Ethan's claims, stating that the CEO of Zenith is not being truthful. In her letter, she claims that Clara Thompson, my mother, was fired for disclosing potentially fatal AI vulnerabilities. The proof has been reviewed by me. Tech sites are discussing it, and hundreds of people have shared it. I am filled with pride, yet I am also plagued with worry. Because Sophie has stoked the flames even more, Ethan will not sit idly by and let things to boil. To get her attention, I spoke loudly. "Give him a chance, Mom." Sophie plays along, refusing to be frightened. "I am not scared," I responded, honoring her. Like my own twitching heart, the neon sign outside flickers. Sophie's article has changed the momentum, directing attention to Zenith's weaknesses, while Ethan's falsehoods continue to proliferate. It appears that Marissa's message and Liam's encrypted files are still safe in my cloud storage. Nathan informed me that the FTC is taking action, but Ethan is defending himself by relying on his charisma and my inaction. He never met me, the lady who taught her daughter self-defense, who grieved over her husband but continued on, who debugged code. At 3 in the morning, he has no idea who she is. I refuse to authorize the signing of his separation package. I refuse to budge. From my window, I can hear the rebellious buzz of the metropolis. I have the truth, and it cuts deeper than Ethan's falls. As I approach a downtown conference facility, the brisk morning air is tinged with the sting of fall. The glass walls reflect the restless pulse of the city. Hi, I'm 58-year-old Clara Thompson, and I'm carrying around a USB drive full of truth. The lies told by Zenith Innovations, which are now in the possession of the FTC. I will confront Ethan Caldwell directly today, despite the fact that his smear campaign and his broadcast lies labeling me a miserable failure continue to hurt. In response to Zenith's fraudulent audits and fatal AI vulnerabilities, the FTC has convened a public hearing. Emails crash test data from Liam and Marissa's note constitute my proof which has compelled them to comply. Now I am here to testify and debunk Ethan's well-crafted story. Even though my heart is racy, inside the room is electric with tension, investors, tech bloggers, and reporters, all looking nervously around as I get into my seat, next to FTC attorney Sarah Kim. As if to reassure me, Nathan Brooks nods across the room. Regulatory officials and business leaders sit in an unreadable panel in the front. Ethan has already arrived, looking dapper in his fitted suit, and dazzling a reporter with his smooth grin. He hasn't laid eyes on me just yet, but as soon as he does, his mask will break first, in shock, then in wrath. Very well, allow him to writhe. The group is in hushed discussion due to Sophie's thread, her popular post, that exposed his falsehoods. Even if his threat, "Your daughter's next," reverberates in my head, my daughter's bravery ignites a fire within me. Leaning so close, Sarah speaks softly. "After Ethan, you're up next. Stay focused on the facts." Even though my stomach is in knots, I nod and keep my hands firm. We've got your back. As usual, Ethan's voice is silky smooth as he takes the stand. He proclaims, "Zenith is committed to safety while surveying the space. Dear Ms. Thompson is pursuing a personal vendetta against an ex-employee, and his charges are overblown. I can see the holes, his twitching fingers, his grin that's too tight, but the falsehoods flow off of him like water. Our AI driver has been thoroughly tested, and we're entirely compliant." I tighten my teeth, hearing Paul's voice in my head, "Truth is your superpower, Clara." He avoids answering the panel's questions concerning my reports by blaming miscommunications. And then it's my time. Everyone in the room is staring at me as I stand. I meet Ethan's intense gaze head-on without flinching. I rise above the background noise and introduce myself as Clara Thompson. Protecting Zenith's technology was my top priority for 27 years. I made sure to disclose any potentially fatal issues with the AI driver that I discovered. As proof that Ethan Caldwell disregarded my reports, fabricated audits, and ultimately dismissed me, I present a copy of his email. As I read it out loud, the room goes silent. Every word hits like a hammer. To prove that the AI was flawed, I present the results of Liam's crash tests. To expose Ethan's stock manipulation in preparation for the merger, I present Marissa's note. I speak more loudly. This isn't a vendetta. Lives are on in terms of trust, in terms of acting in an ethically sound manner. The forward-bending panel makes notes. Ethan becomes more unattractive as his magnetism wanes. An enraged newsman raises his voice and demands an answer from Caldwell. He stutters and claims the emails are out of context, but the room is alive with activity. Investors whisper in the background as phones flash live tweets. Sophie, with pride in her eyes, is at the back. "Zenith was my home," I said, my voice unwavering. "I fought for it." The audience's applause dispels Ethan's lies, and now I'm standing up for what's true. My heart races as I sit here remembering Paul's smile. In spite of Ethan's best efforts, the panel's questions are incessant, concentrating on specifics like dates, facts, and my termination. As soon as he realizes he's gone, I can see him stumble. Sarah whispers, "You nailed it, Clara." But the victory is for naught when my phone rings with a message from Marissa, boards panicking. I recoil in horror at the threat to end my employment. Zenith has reinstated my pension, but it is still inadequate. Sophie's account is still haunted by the shadow of Ethan's threats and hack. I will not stop until he faces the consequences. In the hallway, as we're walking out, Ethan comes up to me with a hissy voice. "So you feel you've triumphed? Sign the severance agreement, or I will ruin you and your daughter." His wrath is obvious, but I step closer, my voice growing icy. "Ethan, you've finished already." "No, this is real." He flinches as I dash away, enticing me to escape while I can, as the dazzling city beyond the glass beckons. After the hearing is over, the fighting doesn't stop. Sophie, Liam, Marissa, and the FTC are all in my corner. The roof of Ethan's realm was smashed by me. A gentle cleansing rain starts to fall again. I am ready to go on to the next stage. The glass skyscrapers that make up Seattle's skyline sparkle like a promise, realized in the rare winter light. My name is Clara Thompson, and I'm 58 years old. As I stand on my apartment balcony, chilly fingers brush over my mug of coffee. At the FTC hearing 3 months ago, I exposed Ethan Caldwell's forgeries, concealed AI flaws, and threats against Sophie and myself. Among other Zenith Innovations lies in front of an unknown public. The facts of the USB drive, which included confidential data, are now in the hands of the judge. It is my intention to inform you that I am no longer the QC director who was fired. Thanks to me, the Ladian empire was downsized. Suddenly, my phone became silent due to a news alert. Zenith CEO and XX charged in fraud scandal, the headline proclaims. 2 additional board members, including Ethan Caldwell, pled guilty to securities fraud and consumer protection law violations. The paper lays out their scheme, which entailed manipulating stock prices and concealing the AI driver's deadly dangers. My results were corroborated by Liam's data and Marissa's letter. As I imagine Ethan in court, I can almost feel the gavel slamming down on his immaculate suit. His arrogance had crumbled by the time we met eyes that day. A gentle calmness, not joy, pervaded. Lastly, equity. Upon entering, the walls are lit up by the neon of Capitol Hill. As the FTC's investigation gathered, steam subpoenas started to circulate the day after my appearance. Zenith has a board that cracked under the stress. I was dismissed by Margaret Hayes, the chairman, and it was her shameful resignation that led to the end of those fraudulent claims. The price of the firm dropped 40% as news spread and investors ran for the hills. Many years ago, I had the honor of working under the new Chief Executive Officer, Patricia Vance. She was an incredibly tough and fair supervisor. Last week, her phone conversation came across as sincere yet tense. "Sarah, we are building again. The dismissal is gone. Not only is your pension secure, but there's a payment for everything." I restrained myself from laughing. The money doesn't matter. Responsibility is paramount. In addition to the settlement, Paul and I were awarded a whistleblower prize by the FTC. The award was 15% of Zenith's penalty, which is more than enough to fulfill our long-held dream of buying a small cottage on Lake Washington. Yesterday, I signed the papers with Sophie by my side. My hand was steady. My daughter has been my rock since her message went viral, and now that Marissa is the HR lead under the new leadership, she is safe. "We did it, Clara," Liam texted me, his smile wide as he informed me that a competitor business had offered him a position. He was a young engineer who had risked everything. "I am not alone. We are all equal partners in this victory." Zenith remains unchanged despite its new appearance. Patricia's team has instituted new compliance standards, opened audits, and issued an official apology for the AI vulnerabilities. They are fixing the driver system as per the plan I mentioned before. Their latest update published this morning was a subtle nod to the lady they wanted to get rid of. It's not perfect, but it's a first step. Outside the neon pulses with change, I refuse to waver even though Ethan is gone and his kingdom has fallen. Below, the city is teeming with potential. As I sip my coffee, I can still hear Paul's voice whispering in my head, "You did it, Clara." I feel like I finally believe him. As the sun sets over Seattle, casting a rainbow of amber and pink hues across Lake Washington, Clara Thompson, 58 years old, sit on the veranda of the little cottage that I recently bought with the money from the Federal Trade Commission's whistleblower reward. It's a far cry from the neon-lit stress of my Capitol Hill apartment, where the air smells of pine and potential dominate. 3 months ago, I stood in a hearing room exposing the lies told by Zenith Innovations, the deceit of Ethan Caldwell, the AI flaws that might have killed, and the threats against Sophie and me. The battle had a profound impact on Zenith and me both. Now, as the tranquil waves of the lake gently brush against the shore, I try to make sense of it all. With my spouse, Paul's picture, propped up on the table next to me, I recline in my chair and relax. Even if his smile was lifeless on our last trek, it comes to life in this light. "Truth's your superpower, Clara," he would say, and I held on to that promise through all the emails, threats, and nightmares. Justice wasn't the only motivation for blowing the whistle on Zenith. Vindication was equally important. I watched as Ethan corrupted the firm I had worked so hard to develop for 27 years because I believed in its objective. I lost everything when I stood up to him, putting my pension, my life, and Sophie's in jeopardy. On the other hand, I gained clarity as a result. It's not only women that see my imperfections. No matter the cost, I will always be the one to stand up for justice. As Sophie unpacks boxes inside, her laughter echoes outside. Last month, she packed up her newsroom in Denver and moved to Seattle to be closer to us and work on something together. The real victory isn't in the money or Ethan's guilty plea, but in her faith in me. Her message, which went viral and exposed Zenith's deceit, was more than just a spark. It shed light on the lessons she learned from her own choices. "You taught me to stand up, Mom," she said last week, her eyes as intense as Paul's. Maybe that's how things work. I had no clue I was teaching anyone. When you live your truth, it sets in motion a domino effect. Paul is the driving force behind our new organization, which will offer technical training to women. We take ownership of it, even though it's small, just a website and some funding. Liam is helping out, dedicating his free time to building the platform. His excitement reminds me of my childhood. Marissa is also on board, drawing on her experience at Zenith to offer HR advice. Together we are building an environment that values honesty and ensures that future Claras won't have to face challenges alone. As I consider the author whose words speak to me, I can't help but think of this quote, "The power of a single courageous deed to change the world." In the IT industry where money talks, it takes imperfect, obstinate, truthful individuals like us to shine a light. The lake glitters with a calm and lively surface, and I am no longer the timid woman who walked into Ethan's office. Trust years and the Zenith I loved were all snatched from me, but I have gained so much more. Paul's legacy lives on, and I no longer fear failure or Ethan's threats. The stars are out now, and I can't help but smile as Paul says, "You're still here, Clara." The gentle tone of his voice makes me smile. As the sun sets over Seattle's Lake Washington, a smattering of stars cuts through the velvet sky like hopeful sparks. I, Clara Thompson, 58 years old, sit on my porch, listening to the gentle sound of the water lapping against the glass. The conflict with Zenith Innovations, with Ethan's lies, the AI mistakes, and the dangers feels like it happened a lifetime ago. The battle transformed me and left lessons that I now share with Sophie and anyone willing to listen. The truth that I battled for wasn't limited to Zenith. The message was to embrace each day to the fullest, no matter the circumstances. Those lessons felt crystal clear, urgent, and destined to be delivered here, with the refreshing breeze caressing my skin. Above all else, stay true to your principles. When you're overwhelmed by pressure from employers' bills or fear, don't give in to it. I could have taken Ethan's severance package, cashed it in, and vanished, but that would have betrayed the drivers and investors who believed in Zenith's technology. Just like I did with Marissa, write it down, or talk to someone you trust when you're faced with a tough decision. Find someone who will listen, a regulator, a lawyer, anyone, and be resilient. My second piece of advice is to always have proof on hand. I made sure to save all of the emails, logs, and memoranda that proved Ethan's deceit. Without them, I would have been reduced to an angry ex-employee. So start immediately by documenting everything of your work emails and meetings. Use anything safe like a laptop, a cloud drive, etc. Details like these will keep you safe and give you a voice when others try to silence you. Third, remember that you're never really alone. I count myself lucky to have the company of Sophie, Liam, Marissa, and Nathan. Identify the people in your life who will be there for you, whether that's friends, family, coworkers, or acquaintances. Plan ahead to network as much as possible. Nothing says care like sharing a coffee with a coworker or complimenting an entry-level worker. Remember that we're stronger together and that even a single ally can make a difference. Without realizing it at the time, my position inspired Sophie to speak up Liam, to risk losing his job and others to challenge Zenith's ways. Every bit of courage you muster sheds light on a path. Share your story not to be praised, but so that others may see that they too can overcome challenges. A simple post-chat or phrase can start a ripple effect. Under the twinkling stars and shimmering water, these lessons aren't just for me. They're for everyone navigating a system that feels overwhelming or unforgiving. As Paul whispers, "Keep shining, Clara," I vow to do the same for him. Sophie and the next fight. The night is alive with possibilities. You can do it too.